Okay, so welcome to the regular Kiali sprint demo. So today we finish sprint 36. So yeah, just to give you a quite summary of where we are. First of all, if anyone outside of Kiali team would like to see what a Kiali sprint looks like, we all our Kanban or issues are set up and defined under Kiali projects. So you can access there to see what is the evolution, what we are doing, what we are finishing. So that's interesting. And also, this spring we were working a lot in the backend, so not too many UI features that are pretty visible to the user. So mostly bug fixing, refactoring, to making more strong the backend. But some of the features that we would like to demo today are, for example, we added a mini graph to other pages of Kiali just to have more consistency view to the user when we browse or we navigate from the graph to a details that the user keeps the context of what they are seeing. So on. It's something that we are going to demo today. Also, we continue improving the validation of Istio config. So in this spring, we focus in sidecar objects, most complex object where you can enter a lot of features, something that we are going to show as well, some example of these new validations in the config. We improve the Istio config YAML editor to be aware when outside you are editing some file and outside of Kiali may have some change that at least at Kiali have a notification that something changed. For example, a virtual service was modified by external user. And another important feature that we introduced in this sprint is related to performance. So Kiali allows some backend caching to have a more faster way to fetch the Kubernetes APIs, but it was disabled by default. So on this sprint, once that we think that this feature is robust enough, we are going to make it enabled by default to see how it goes for the community. And yeah, that's it from my side. We are going to start with the demo of the features. I guess that Edgar is going to help me. After that, I will also try to finish with demo. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Edgar, whenever you like, the stage is yours.
Yes, let me share my screen. Okay, first of all, my apologies for not showing a live demo. This time I recorded what I'm going to show because, well, I didn't have my environment ready for the demo, but it's recorded. So what you are going to see is what you are going to have available in the release of today. So I'm starting here with the main graph, just to remember that this is one of the main features of Kiali. And this is the part that will let you to visually see what's happening in your mesh. We added something called at least what we call a mini graph. So for example, if you go to the applications page, you will see that the product page is having a health warning. And well, this is because of some failures in some requests going to some services that are going to product page to other services. So let's see what's inside of the details page of the product page. This new card that you can see is called the graph overview. We are referring to this card as the mini graph sometimes, or most of the time we are calling this the mini graph because, well, it's just a card that is showing a small graph. This adds to the detailed pages the benefit of the visual representation of what's happening in your mesh. This mini graph is not showing, obviously you can see that it's not showing the full graph. It's just showing the neighborhood. With the neighborhood, I mean the entities that are in direct communication with the product page. Remember, the product page is present in the mini graph is the one that you are seeing in the overall details pages, in this details page. So we can see that product page is having communication with the detail service and also the review services, and is receiving traffic from the ingress gateway because of the request, comment request from the world. The mini graph is meant to be simple. It's just to give some context about what's happening around the chosen service or application. In this case, it's an application what we are seeing. So it only has enabled pan and zoom. You won't have all the features that are present in the main graph. So as I said, it's mainly for context. So there is no double click. You cannot. If you try to double click a node, it won't happen anything. If you try to select an edge, it won't happen anything. Just pan and zoom, as I said. The traffic that you are seeing, you can change the time span that you are seeing about the data. So when you change the time span, everything will refresh about the health and the mini graph representation. So that's in sync. You can also refresh the data of the overall details page as normally with the refresh button. With the refresh button that is here available. So if you click refresh, everything will reload. Yes, as you can see, well, what I wanted to show also is that, as I already said, there are some problems with the old one. So the mini graph is allowing you to see that what's this exact service that is having problems. That's something that you didn't have available before, and now you can see exactly what service is causing problems. So just for fun or for completeness of the demo, I'm going to show what's happening in outbound metrics. So you can come here and choose the remote service and filter out the ones that aren't having problems, like the reviews. You can, in this case, you can filter the response code. And you can see that the service is returning some unauthorized response code, which is 100.401, what is being returned. Yes, so that makes it a little easier because to know because of the added context that you can see in the mini graph. Maybe you remember that previously we have a legend here next to the title that the text say the show on graph. That was a text here that was redirecting you to the full graph. We moved that text under a kebab menu because, well, it makes more sense to be here. It's the same feature. It will go to the main graph and focus the node that you were seeing before. Right. So, well, again, if we come to the main graph, remember maybe you remember a feature from past sprints that we have demoed. And there is a context menu. If you didn't know about this, you just need to right-click on one node, for example, in the services, and this will show this context menu. I will go to the details pages of the service in this case. Remember, we were in the applications details page. So I will go to the service details page. And I just want to show that the mini graph is also available in the details page of services. It looks different because we are no longer seeing the application with the service node. Remember, this is for context, so it's focused the service node, and it's showing that traffic is coming from the ingress gateway and going to the product page workload. Yes, you can see that this is healthy. It is weird. It may be weird because you can see that in the mini graph, the product page workload has a warning. So It may be a little weird, but it's okay because actually the product page service is not having any problems. It's more related to the what's happening around the workload. As we have seen, well, the issue is between the product page and reviews, if I remember correct. So at least this added context will allow us to, well, to direct our inspection in case we are inspecting the mesh to go to the workload. We have the workloads available here. So if we click on it, this time we are going to the workload of the product page. So I'm going here because, well, I just want to show that the minigraph is available on all detailed pages. So we have already seen an application, we have seen services, and we are now seeing workloads. So the minigraph is present in all the detailed pages. And yes, well, maybe you also remember the traffic tab. The traffic tab, if you remember, is showing a list of the incoming and outgoing traffic. The minigraph and the traffic tab are basically the same data. It's just the way of show the data. The traffic tab is shown in the form of a list, and the minigraph, well, is just a visual representation. You can see exactly the same data. If you can see some nodes, you have details, reviews, well, 3 workloads of the reviews one, and also we have the ingress gateway. This is outbound, and the ingress gateway is inbound. So if we go to the traffic tab, it's exactly the same data. You will see exactly the same data. So in some way, it's complementary. These are complementary views. The small advantage that we have in the traffic tab is that we can go directly to view the metrics, and there will be some filtering applied already. So if we click on it, you will see that reviews is already pre-selected here in the metrics once you come here. Yes, and just a little more thing to mention, worth to mention, I think, is that the full graph has the same view available. Not sure if you already know that you can drill down on the full graph. So remember this picture. Not sure if you already know that we can double click. Remember, we are now in the workload graph. Remember that when we use the show on full graph, the graph type will be pre-selected depending on context. So if we go on here and double click this node, we will see exactly the same graph as in the mini graph. The difference here is, well, the main graph has all the features that are available in the main graph. You can click on everything and it will show some additional data in the side panel. But yes, this is all what I wanted to show about this new mini graph feature.
Thank you, Edgar. Okay, so next
okay, we are stop sharing.
Okay, let me share my screen again. Can you see my my Kiali?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to show a couple of improvements that we have in the istio-config management area of Kiali. So as you know, Kiali manages istio-config. It allows to create new objects. It allows to edit existing objects. So, and also it allows you to validate the configuration, complementary to what Istio Galei is doing. But also Kiali is focused more in context validation. Means, okay, not only the semantics or the schema validation that Galei provides, that's good, but what we want to do is to examine this configuration related to other Kubernetes objects or other scenario that you may have deployed. So this is a sidecar, right? You know that now, for example, if we try to put selectors that workload selectors, and you don't have any selector related to this workload, we are going to add new validations, right? right? And now I'm going to edit my sidecar, and now I see, okay, this is correct. As I want to detect, non-existent workload. Kiali is going to warn that, okay, not matching workload found for authorization policy selector, and probably this may lead in some problems, right? Other validation is across on several external objects. One interesting is, for example, about the egress objects. In this case, I have in my Istio service entry. This is extracted from the official examples, and I want just to enable external hosts, external API for Facebook, Google, etc. This is good, but probably I would like to use these services in my sidecar just to define something more specific. And in this way, I can see that, okay, this egress host is non-existent, right? It doesn't exist. We don't have a matching entry on this service register. So this is quite helpful to, for example, just to, okay, I need to edit, and probably I will be good. Now I'm going to create a correct project page. For example, in other scenario where Kiali cannot validate because it's something that is out of the scope, like this one, we can also add some kind of information icon to say, okay, that Kiali was unable to verify this validity because it's a cross-name validation and it's not supported at the moment for this field. So probably, it's just to help the user that the experience to manage the Istio configuration is easier. For last, imagine that outside of Kiali, I have a CLI command and I want to update my my configuration. Let me just try to do that. I'm going to perform. Okay, so now I updated the sidecar from a CLI command, and now I have a different newer versions of these resources. And Kiali is warning me that I have to do that. I can just to overwrite, I can reload the new session, or just to have the information that probably this is something that I can affect. So in this case, I'm going to reload it, and this was modified with a different resource version from. Also, one non-visible feature is that now the caching is enabled by default. So that means that when you are pulling on the workloads, pulling on the services, and pulling partially some of the more used Istio configuration, now this info is caching. So especially for performance, in those scenarios that we have a very populated namespace with a lot of objects or pods, I think that the Kiali experience, also the graph, will improve. Yeah, I guess that is what we wanted to show for Sprint 36. So remember, if you want to see what we are planning, what are the next feature that will come in the next sprints, don't hesitate to look into or project, right? In GitHub, Kiali projects is when you see what is the of project. Thank you for attending the demo.